Hey everybody, Who's Your Jedi here with another review for you. This time I'm talking episode 11 of Star Wars Rebels called Call to Action. And I have to say, this, I think, is probably my new favorite episode of the series so far. Now, I've previously really raved when I got the chance to get to see them really delve into the lore of the Jedi and stuff. But here, basically, they just bring in Grand Moff Tarkin, and it's just such classic Star Wars. I mean, after all, he is sort of one of the major villains of the original Star Wars movie, played by the late and sorely missed Peter Cushing. And this is Tarkin in basically all his glory. It's actually not that long ago. A book set in sort of the new Star Wars expanded universe called Tarkin, which is indeed part of that canon universe, came out. I read it just a few days after it came out, and it's basically just sort of the story of Grand Moff Tarkin's life, from when he was very young and to his rise to the Empire. And it's a very good story. You see Tarkin just become this more and more ruthless as time goes by, and it's just a good story that really illustrates just how smart and dangerous and just flat out merciless this man was. And here we see this on full display, and it's great. This is a big signal that the Empire is through screwing around with our plucky heroes, as Oresco and Grint learn when they get their friggin' heads chopped off. Just watching Tua, that's the politician lady's name, and Callus just sort of be freaked out by all of that. I mean, yeah, particularly the minister. She's basically just a paper pusher, towing the party line. Sort of really getting a first-hand look at just what the Empire really stands for and what they really do. That's got to be a nasty wake-up call for her. For some reason, I oddly like the minister. You really had the feeling that she really just doesn't quite understand who it is she's gotten into bed with. To her, this minister's position probably is just, toe the party line, get rewarded, make some political deals, get a job that's cool. Here you see the price of doing something like that with the Empire. And of course, we also get to see the senator from last episode doing a very blatant, very public flip flop, and of course, spin doctoring, and it's just, yeah. But yeah, this episode is really just to show that Tarkin is a serious danger. The stakes have been raised significantly, and our heroes are in for a hard time because the Empire is through playing around. And they emphasize this, of course, by when Tarkin arrives. It's a very close recreation of the Emperor's arrival on the Death Star in Return of the Jedi. And of course, we get to hear the one, the only Imperial March twice. Now, when Kanan and Ezra are doing some cool Jedi stuff, we do get to hear some of the more heroic Star Wars music. But really, this episode is there to serve as a big reminder that, yeah, the guys on Lothal might not be the most competent dudes around, but make no mistake, the Empire has people who are better and more dangerous than them, and now it's time to show that. It's time to show that this is not fun and games. This is not, throw pies at the Empire and get away with it. This is time. This is time that the real consequences start coming home to roost. Of course, there's this counterbalance by the the team succeeding in their mission. They do manage to broadcast this signal. Now, you have to wonder. I just look at this and I can't help but think that maybe Hera, logically, probably would have been the person that I thought would have made that speech. But remember, the main audience of this speech is the people of Lothal. This isn't going across the galaxy. This is mostly going to be heard across Lothal and some of the neighboring systems. And Ezra, having been born and raised on Lothal, he's the one who's going to be able to speak with the earnestness that the situation really demands. If it had been Hera, she'd have probably gone out there and made a good speech, but she would have just been some other person out there spitting propaganda, albeit one for the good guys. By having it be Ezra, by having the person who has that real connection to the world that is the main target, then the earnestness, the sincerity comes through. And this is not just some person reading a prepared speech. This is someone who is like the people who are hearing it. Somebody who was just trying to get by on this world day to day, and then was forced by circumstances to stand up and start being accounted for. And for the galaxy to change, that's what needs to happen on Lothal and thousands of other worlds. Now, if I've probably mentioned before that I play Star Wars: The Old Republic, the MMO, and there one of the big NPC heroes is this guy named Jace Malcolm. He's a soldier, sort of a stormtrooper, but one who kind of fights for the Republic. And part of it is that he has this one point where he has this really nice speech. It was actually one of the trailers for the game. And after he and his allies defeat a bunch of Imperial bad guys, he says that something along the lines of, and I'm not getting this word for word, but I've heard this speech enough times that I can kind of give it to you pretty close. It's like, though the losses are heavy, we fight knowing that a single spark of courage can ignite the fires of hope and restore peace across the galaxy. And that's basically what they're trying to do here. They are trying to be that spark of rebellion. And here it's a start. But these things don't come without a price, and that price is Kanan being captured by the bad guys. I love that moment where Tarkin turns to him after having them blow up the tower and goes, "You don't know what it takes to win a war." And again, this is actually very much Tarkin's attitude in his younger days when he was dealing with the Jedi. The Jedi were basically people who didn't want to be generals in the war, but felt that they had no choice because it was either do that or the Republic would surely be destroyed. And also because if they did that, they could sort of at least step in there and ensure some level of respect and humanity was given to the clones, who, remember, were not allowed to leave the army, leave the military, or anything like that. But that's a debate for another day. Of course, one has to point out that the Tarkin blows the tower up just as Ezra's message is finishing. Basically, it's already too late, and then he went and blew up what had to be a very powerful and extraordinarily expensive military complex after the damage had already been done. Now, I suppose you could take this as Tarkin's way of saying, I will do whatever it takes to silence you. I don't care if I have to smash up a little Imperial property to do it as well. I will sacrifice whatever is necessary in order to achieve my goals. And while everybody on Lothal seemed to have heard that speech, the Empire blowing up that tower, that's not going to be missed either. So that too, in a way, sends, I guess you could say, a counter argument or a rebuttal. Yes, I suppose a rebuttal would probably be the more appropriate term there to what the rebels are saying. In any case, this was, like I said, a really great episode. Lots of nice moments or elements from classic Star Wars, and a great use of one of the all-time classic Star Wars villains, as well as a major upping of the stakes for the show in itself. So yeah, guys, I'm really looking forward to what we've got coming down the road. So until next time, please comment, rate, and subscribe, and of course you can follow me on Twitter at Who's Your Jedi. Until next time, take care and have a good one.